The all-new 102.7.
She will always be our favorite Staten Island girl, the incredibly talented. Make some noise for Ingrid Michaelson. Well, congratulations on Stranger Songs.
Thank you.
Oh, nice. I need you to walk me through how, oh my God, I love this TV show, turned into, this is inspiring creativity, turned into, I'm going to do a whole album.
Well, I just wanted to do something different because I feel like I've just been making records the same way for a long time. Swivel chairs on a boat. Not a good idea. And I just love the show so much. You know, every once in a while you find a TV show and it just like, you get so obsessed with it. That was Stranger Things for me. It just made me feel like nostalgic, and I missed the 80s, and I wrote a poem about talking to somebody through Christmas lights because that's what one of the characters does in the show. And it just, all of a sudden I was like, if I'm writing a poem, maybe I could write it a song. And then if I could write a song, maybe I can make an EP, which is like a short, like 2 or 3 songs. And then I thought, well, if I'm going to make an EP, it has to have 11 songs because of her name, right? And then I was like, well, that's a full-on record. So it just kind of crept up on me until, everyone's like, does it have to have 11? I was like, yes. It has to have 11 songs. It has to have 11 songs. So that's how it happened.
Well, and I heard that you had rules for it, so that was one of the rules for the album?
That was one of the rules.
What were the other rules?
What were the other rules?
I don't know. You said that you had rules.
I did?
Yes.
Oh. And where did I say them?
In some interview.
Some interview? What did the interview say? Can we just ask what the interview said?
You didn't give the answer. You just said that there were rules.
Oh, well, they were like, okay, so if I went into a session and I said I want this song to be sung by the point of view of, let's say, Nancy, if one of the writers in the room was like, said some lyric, I was like, no, Nancy would never say that. Like, we can't,
okay.
like, we have to stick with, But, like, so my song Missing You is about, it's from Nancy's point of view, and it's about the love triangle between Steve and Jonathan and her, right. But you would never know that that's what it's about if you didn't know. So my goal was to write songs that were show specific, but also totally standalone on their own songs that you wouldn't even know that it was, if you really know the show, you'll get all the little Easter eggs, but.
Yes, I figured that out when I was bawling to Mother and Kid and Christmas Lights. And I thought, well, this, could be for anyone who's experienced loss.
Yeah, well, also, obviously, I've lost my mom, I've lost my dad, I've gone through a lot of traumatic things, and so inevitably you're writing from the point of view of a character, but you're also writing from your own experiences. So a lot of the songs definitely have my own experiences completely interwoven into them. So it's like a double-edged sword for sure.
Did you know that going in, or when you listened back?
No, because when I wrote the first poem, it was totally about me communicating, like missing my parents during the holidays and that sort of feeling. And then so I knew that I was, the essence of what I wanted was to marry together my experiences with my fandom of the show.
Well, I want to talk about Pretty. That I go back and forth with my favorite, but that's currently my favorite on the song.
Okay.
On the album. And I know that is that the song where only women worked on the song?
Yes, this is the sad thing too, and to consider myself a feminist, I feel bad saying this, but it's the first song where it's been only women in the room and production wise. So
wow, that's great.
I think a lot of it is that there's just a lot more men in the industry. So and I love men. They're great and they're very talented, and so are women. It's just that there aren't a lot of women in that world. They're starting to be more and more and more, and I think it's about finding people and bringing people up, and so that was a really exciting song for us, also because it is just such an empowering song for women, and to write it was really satisfying, and to sing it was really satisfying. We're not singing it tonight, though. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Sorry to bring it up. Go listen to it on the album.
Go listen to it, okay?
And I know you heard from my crush. How many people out there crush on Hopper big time?
So he's so sweet.
I would like to get my hands all over that hot dad bod. But he got in touch with you about the album, right?
Yeah, he's been very supportive. I sent him "Hey Kid" is from his point of view about his loss of his child and of 11 and everything. And so I sent him like an earlier mix. He's like, "I love it so much. Aww. I'm so thank you so much for including me in this." I was like, "Oh my God, he's very humble, very nice guy."
Well, now I have to ask about Will because he was in
my
Stranger
boyfriend.
Things.
Yeah.
Okay, I have so many questions about this because first of all, you got to be thrilled that he's in it. But does it kind of ruin it for you because it's
he doesn't know anything. They don't tell him anything.
No, but
so he was like the angry dad of Billy.
I hated him so much.
He's a villain.
I hope he takes that as a compliment.
Yes, no. He plays villains a lot, and I'm like, you're such an asshole. Sorry. He's very sweet in real life, but he plays a good, mean person.
But I mean, did it, because it's a fantasy show, and then all of a sudden your boyfriend pops up.
I've seen him in enough stuff that I can separate him from character him.
Okay.
Yeah. I've seen him have sex on TV.
Well, that's unpleasant.
So that was really when I had to learn how to divide because my head wanted to pop off and I wanted to punch the flat screen. I was so mad. One time he kissed somebody on some show and I literally just instinctually threw the remote across the room and it broke. That was not even that long ago. He was like, "Ingrid." I was like, "I'm sorry, I couldn't help it." So I'm good at sort of being able to separate.
Okay,
unless he's having sex with someone, then it's really hard.
Then remotes get
unless
thrown.
he's having sex with Maggie Gyllenhaal on an HBO show.
And then that's okay.
And HBO sex is might as well just be real sex. I mean, it's
oh my God,
I've had sex with Maggie Gyllenhaal now. You can quote me on it. So
this is taking a turn. But here's what I want to know.
I'm please let me talk about it.
Here's what I want to know. He wasn't killed off.
I can't sit on this anymore.
All right.
It's so confusing to my equilibrium. No, you can sit. You sit. Look at your heels. You sit.
Okay, so he wasn't killed off, and we should say who he played Billy's father. I don't
Killed
know
off? Oh, he's
he hasn't been killed off.
No, but he exists. Oh yeah, you're right.
So here's my thing. If he comes back, I want you to write what happens to him. What would you write happens to Neil on Stranger Things?
I mean, I feel like his arc is nicely wrapped up. I don't think we need to hear him. But if we had to, I would want him to make amends with his son. Although I think, spoiler alert, there might not be amends to make with. Have you all seen the show? Who has not seen the show? I'm so sorry.
Plug your ears.
Do you care about spoiler alerts, or are you never gonna watch it? Okay. So that's not. I would want him to have a sweet, kind moment of sadness
really?
Where he.
I was thinking that you would want him eaten by a Demogorgon. Yeah, so that way if you ever get mad at him, you could just watch it over and over.
Right, that's true. No. I don't know. Maybe I'll rethink it.
Okay. All right. Well, switching gears altogether. I saw a picture of you on Instagram, and the thing that I love about you is your honesty. But this caption caught me off guard because you looked gorgeous. You were head to toe Versace. It was the Billboard Music Awards.
Oh yes.
And
there's a really funny story behind that.
Okay. And I thought, it's going to be Ingrid at some fabulous place doing some fabulous thing. But the caption was, underneath all this Versace is a very nervous, self-conscious person do stuff that scares you.
Oh yeah.
So
go me.
Yeah. No, but you don't have to be that honest on Instagram.
Let me tell you about this whole thing.
Yes. Tell us.
So my stylist in New York got me a couple options for the, Billboard Music Awards. And I liked them both. I was like, no, they're cool. And then when my manager and I got to Vegas and we were in some bougie hotel that I was paying for, and it was the only thing that was left. It was a last minute thing. So it was so overpriced. And I was like, oh my God, it's a suite. We each had our own room. I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. I want a La Quinta, for $59 a night. I'm on my own label, okay? So I had these outfits and I put one on. I was like, no, I feel it was a pantsuit. It was a iridescent Hillary Clinton, but cooler pantsuit. Except that I just felt I was like, this isn't the right vibe. It's not. And then I tried the other thing on, and it was very chesty, breasty, breast tape and shiny. And I was like, no. And then I just panicked. I was like, I don't want to wear either of these things tomorrow. So my manager and I raced around Vegas, and if you've ever been there, they're just spend your money. And we saw a Versace. I was like, well, I've never bought anything from Versace, and I really liked this outfit in the window, so we went in, and it was like a little like tank top, crop top, and a little skirt thing. So I got the skirt, tried on the top. Top was too small. Try on a bigger one, it's a little bit too big. I needed one in the middle. They're looking through their stock. They can't find it. They're like, the one at the Bellagio has the size you want.
No.
We get in the car. We go to the Bellagio. They're like, we don't have the right size, but let's see if we can squeeze you into this smaller one. And I'm like, okay. They put me in the room. They zip up my skin. I'm like, please take this off of me. Please rip it off of me. And they're like, the zipper's stuck. The zipper's stuck. They get it off my skin. It's still stuck on me. I have 4 women. I have no bra on either. I have 4 women trying to jiggle this probably $4,000 piece of nothing off of my body. They're like, just wiggle. And I'm like, break the fucking thing. But they didn't want to break it because it was Versace. So they finally got it off of me somehow. I went back to the other one. I bought the bigger size, and I sewed it myself.
Oh, Ingrid.
In one of my 3 bathrooms in this suite. And then I'm like, okay, I feel good in this. I feel good in this. I go to the red carpet the next day. I'm so mortified. The whole thing just embarrasses me because half the people don't even know who I am. And then I have blonde hair and no glasses, and they're like, who the fuck is she, right? So I'm like, let's go early so we'll beat all the celebrities so that I'll have some time in front of all the photographers because they're not going to care about me once, all the big stars come. So I'm there, and there's like bleachers full of people taking pictures. They're like, Ingrid. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm literally there for 15 seconds, and Taylor Swift, I hear all this buzzing and people talking, and I look over and I'm like, no. They were like, and next. And I just got shoved off the red carpet. I was like, bye. And I got off, and then Taylor was like, she just commanded it and walked off. And then I've hung out with her a few times. I know her, a little bit, and I hadn't seen her in a long time. And I was like, Taylor. And they were like, no. And I'm like, no, she knows me. And I'm pulling my sewed Versace top on so my boobs don't come out. And I'm like, she knows me. And she went behind this thing, and they were rushing her off a secret way. And I was like, Taylor, it's Ingrid. And she was like this. She turned around, and it was like unicorns. She was like, what? And then she was like, Ingrid, how are you? And everyone was like, oh. They parted, and they let me through, and then she hugged me, and we got a picture, and that was the end of it. Anyway, that was my Versace story.
Wonderful moment.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask you some of their questions.
Is there no more time? Did I talk too much?
I think you talked too much.
All right.
How much? What do we got?
You can ask more questions. What else do we have to do? We're on a boat.
All right. Okay. All right, cool. Giselle from Brooklyn. She's right there. When will the Notebook musical be released?
Thank
you for writing the music for it.
Oh, you're welcome. Hopefully we're doing some sort of out of town in the summer, fall of next year. We haven't figured out exactly when, but you never know. It's kind of it's kind of happens really quickly, or it takes a really long time. But if we're doing an out of town in the fall, then maybe in the spring of 2021, I would say it's a good estimation, but you never know. You never really know. But that's my estimate. We had a reading a few weeks ago, and it was incredible. So
was that really great. Stuff that scares you? Is that why you did it?
Look, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Writing a musical? Are you kidding me? That's taking on quite a lot, but it's amazing. I've been doing it for 2.5 years, though. Now nobody knew because I couldn't talk about it.
Right.
But yeah, it's. I'm so happy that I said yes, even though I was like, you can't do it. And I was like, yes, I will do it. It's been amazing.
Well, if you didn't request a one-on-one meeting with Ryan Gosling, you're doing it wrong.
I know, I should. And Rachel McAdams, because come on now.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, Bree Buttermilk. I think we all know who she is. From Staten Island.
Buttermark.
Oh, sorry.
I called her Buttermilk by accident because my old brain forgot her real name.
If you could choose a character scene from Stranger Things Season 3 to add to the album, what would it be and why?
I love, what's her name? Robin. I love her so much I forgot her name. I would do the scene where she tells him that she's not in love with him because she's gay. But basically, he thinks he's falling for her, and he
Right,
finally
right.
feels like, oh, I love this. Oh my God, I just spoiled it for so many people. Sorry. It was a really beautiful moment they have together because she
Right.
really does care for him, but not in that way. And it's like almost breaks her heart to tell him that. And I just thought it was a really beautiful moment. And he accepted it. It was really lovely. There you go. You don't even have to watch the show now. There's a lot more that happens, but I won't talk about that.
Okay. Allison, Amanda, and Tori from Buffalo. If you and Will could star opposite one another in a Broadway show, what would it be?
I don't know. Star opposite each other. Oh, I know. Sunday in the Park with George.
Okay.
That's what I would do. But Jake Gyllenhaal just did it, so no one's going to want to do it now.
Ariel from San Diego. When writing your own songs, how do you overcome the fear to share such personal experiences?
Hi. Oh, I met you. You were listening to me since you were a child, right? Thank you for telling me that. I think just because I know everybody feels the same shit, so it's not really that daunting because I know that everybody feels the same stuff. So if I'm just saying it in a way that's maybe a little different, or singing it, but I always feel closer to humanity when I sing songs. I don't get scared of that. Ooh, it's getting
I
wungy.
know. John from Staten Island. What do you miss most about Staten Island?
Your mom's green bug. I miss things like obviously my parents and my house and just that feeling of home. I'm a very like homebody person. My brother and his wife and my niece just moved back to that house though, so I feel like we're gonna have like lots of good memories in the house again. But I do miss that just feeling of safety and home for sure.
And the smell.
The smell was really bad when I was a kid near the dump, but
Really?
now it's not anymore. They covered it up. It's a park and stuff. I don't know how they did that, but
Okay. And
it doesn't smell. I shouldn't have said that. Well, it did, but it doesn't anymore.
This is the last question, and I think this is what everybody really wants to know. Shayna from Staten Island. What happened to Janet? We want to know about her frosted tips. Right?
Janet.
Don't we want to know?
I want to know. They took the filter off Snapchat. I have a character named Janet Frostorino. She's from Staten Island. It's this filter that made you look. It's. I can't describe it. I don't want to insult her by describing it, but it's very. It makes your voice very deep. And she would frost. She was obsessed with frosting her tips, and I had a whole Instagram for her and everything. And then they stopped with the filter, so it really cut me off. It cut my creative flow. But Janet Frostorino lives on in the hearts of us all.
The all-new 102.7.